Okay, excellent. Looks like it's working here. Restream is working on transmitting it. Uh-oh, I'm on key. Okay, let's adjust that. Okay. All right, let's see if it up on that. Still says it's connecting. I adjusted it. I wonder if it won't automatically pick that up. Let's see here. Oh, no, the warning's gone, so it picked that up. Okay, and it says Twitch is online. Waiting for YouTube. So I don't know if that will work or not. But in the meantime, while it's thinking about it, to see if I can finish off this fence here. I haven't really decided what I want to do with this corner. I want it to connect up to the edge of the barn over there. I haven't exactly decided how. All right, let's do that first. And oh, it just connecting now. Okay, Twitch up. Doesn't seem to want to connect. Okay. It might just not. It might not like that. I haven't actually streamed to YouTube in, ooh, goodness, a very long time. There might be a setting on YouTube that I have to amend. Hi, gamer. Welcome. Hansen! Hello, how are you? Oh, look at that. It says that YouTube is connected. Awesome. I need 67 and 71. So, log 67 and wood plank 71. Alright, oops. Okay, did I get what I needed? I think I did. Okay. So I'm trying to use Restream, or yeah, Restream. And I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I've got it set to stream to Twitch and YouTube. It does say that they are both connected, so that's good. And I guess we'll kind of see how it works out. Now I have Twitch chat up on my tablet. Let me see if I can get YouTube chat up on my phone. And see how that works. I don't know. But I would like to be able to see both chats. Maybe it won't let me. Yeah, it probably won't let me do it on my phone. Okay. Oh, well. I will. Yeah, alright. I will try to figure that out later, but we'll see. What software am I using? I am broadcasting with XSplit because it's still the only thing I can get to actually work with. Oops, change the time. It's the only thing that I can get to work with Rising World. OBS just will not play well with this game, no matter what I do. You do have both up, so it is correctly streaming to both. That's good. That's good. I've been kind of toying with this idea since Lady DeWinter had mentioned that she was doing it. Just kind of as a way to reach all audiences. And I'm glad that it seems to be working, because I wasn't sure if it would or not. Let's see. Welcome. Is it... Oh my gosh, I cannot pronounce your name at all. I'm so sorry. Rara? I'm sorry, I'm sure that's not correct, but welcome to the stream. Joffrey the giraffe. Okay. Sure, why not? I'm sorry, Mr. Sheep, but I really don't actually want you in the field. So if you could... Thank you. Much appreciated. Just kind of keep going. Which has better quality. You know, I'm honestly not surprised. One of the reasons that I wasn't really too heartbroken about not doing a lot on YouTube in terms of streaming is that I don't think that they usually have terrific quality. I could be wrong. I mean, sometimes some people seem to get better quality than others. But by and large, I think that Twitch ends up having better quality than YouTube. But the nice thing about YouTube is that it seems to do a better job with a lot of the alerts. For instance, Twitch supposedly has an option that will send a notification to YouTube when you go live. However, I have not seen that actually work. Watch YouTube videos if no one's on. Yeah. Okay, this is going to be tricky to angle it. All right. So let's extend this. I really like the idea of an angled corner on this fence here. So, see if I can get that. It would help if it was straight, wouldn't it? Question is how much of an angle. I think that's probably too much. Maybe that. There. Maybe a little bit. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's probably going to be how we're going to want to go with this. So let's try it. See if we can get it to work. Going all the way across. I am hopeful that we will Not gonna put it at. No. About right there. Not precise. That look. Oh, that came through. It's off-centered though. I don't like it. I don't like it. We're gonna try it again. I'm gonna go ahead and be a little bit of a perfectionist today, because this really kind of is it's a lot of the final touches. We've got this pretty well built. Excuse me, have to have my coffee. Well, let's say a corner that's not actually, let's say non-standard. Use that terminology. Non-standard angle corner. Now it's moving. I want them to be about the same height. But as I was saying, we've pretty much got the primary components of this build done. So all that's really left is just to iron out a few of the details. And then it's pretty much done. I mean, I'll want to have the pastures filled with animals. The actual farm fields are pretty much filled in. You know, I tried to get you out of here, Mr. Sheep, and you did not listen to me, and that disappoints me. But by and large, I think that it is pretty well completed, really. I honestly can't think of much more to do with it. I will want a more detailed arena, basically, for the horses. So once I get that done, I'll have a couple of different like training and show arenas for the horses. Oh, you're right. There probably is a specific name for the corners. I just don't know what it is. But there probably is an actual name for them. I have approximate spacing there in a way. Did I get close enough in? Yeah, it did. That's good. That is good. And then I'm trying to think of whether or not I would want to start up another Let's Play series. I don't know what I would focus on, though. That's kind of the problem. Because I don't know that anybody would really be all that interested in watching another series that was pretty much the exact same thing that I did last time. And this really doesn't have terrific spacing. What if I do this? That's 67, so okay. Try to make sure that I only hit what I want to hit. that's the perfect size. Yep. A little bit deeper. Right about there. All right, a little bit less deeper. Less deeper. Yeah, that's good. Well, I am only on my 3rd cup of coffee for the morning, so. Brain is not totally awake. There we go. Wow. I can hear the rain and it sounds so real that I almost want to go open a window and see if it's raining outside my house. It's gonna kind of irritate me. Okay, yeah, this works much better. Much, much better. Ah, dinner. Excellent. There we go. For some reason, when I try to place it, it's placing it too low. That's better. But that is kind of a good question. Is there anything that you guys would want to see in a Let's Play series for Rising World? Because, like I said, I'm really kind of out of ideas. I mean, the basic premise is really the same. So I don't know what I would want to try and focus on for a Let's Play. Unless what I could do is kind of a very detailed, something new I've never built. Well, yeah. Tips and tricks. You're right, Hansen. And I do actually, I have to record a video on using getting the plugins into your game, because I was chatting with Lady last week and she had asked me to do that because there's a really great plugin now. Oh my gosh, I can't remember who created it right now. The name starts with an M, but it's a cooking timer plugin, which I was teasing Lady that one really just seems tailor-made for her because she burns meat every time she tries to cook it. And she said that she's never learned how to get plugins into the game, so I should make a video on it. So I'm going to do that. But I could do, I guess, not quite a Let's Play, but more of a detailed build. Yeah, and I'm guessing that the reason you haven't seen a lot of videos about plugins is that even though Rising World has a single player element to it, a lot of the plugins that people have made have been designed more for, oops, guess we gotta get rid of this land. They've been designed more for use on servers. So I think in a lot of single player games, people don't really focus on plugins very much because they feel that there just aren't any for a single player game. And there's not a lot. There's not a lot that would be useful for a single player game. For instance, oh, what would be a good example? I guess the area protection plugins would be a good example. The ones that are, it's where on a server, some of the servers, you can't do certain things in certain areas. well, that's an area protection plugin. That's an area protection script that's preventing that from happening. So that's very much a useful for servers only kind of thing. But there are some that are useful for single player as well. So I always think it's worth taking a look. You never know what you might find until you look. This looks like it should be a gate here. This should be a gate. So I'm gonna change this a bit. Get up right next. There, maybe. We'll see. Right, yeah, like the area protection script. That only works on a server because it's really only relevant on a server. Yes, that's an excellent point. And I mean, obviously, it's understandable. The game was created in Germany, so there are going to be a lot of German players. Mr. Sheep, you are still in the way. But yeah, it does make it a little bit difficult trying to figure out what you might be able to use, what might be helpful, because you have to first translate it. Which isn't... It's not necessarily hard, it's just very time consuming. Now, I generally use a couple of different browsers depending on what I'm doing. And if I'm going to be on the forum, I always use Google Chrome because I have it set to automatically translate everything. So as soon as I pull up a page, if there's anything on it that's not in English, the browser translates the entire page for me, which is very helpful. Don't Play All? Welcome! That's an interesting name. Right-click and translate to English, yes. Yes, that's a very important thing to be able to do. Okay, so we've got that fence up. Let's go check on our animals in here and see how they're doing. All right, we've got our 2 donkeys still standing there. And what I did with those is just use the lock NPC command to lock them in place. I just haven't actually named all of them. But that's how the donkeys are standing there without saddles or anything. And then, of course, my 2 horses. Rocket is locked in place. Smokey is not. He's just saddled. So that's why he's not going anywhere. And then my lone camel down here at the very end, Sunset, also locked in place. All of a sudden, that lock NPC command has become very helpful. Because I think it looks really, really weird to have a whole bunch of animals just standing there with their saddles on. Like, that looks strange. That really does. But you know, the one thing I was thinking that we're missing here is a grooming area. And that might go in here. Yeah, I think we're gonna take out a couple of these stalls. And actually, I'm going to use F7 for this because it'll be so much faster. Okay, that's set. That complete. There we go. Much better. Oh, Except that I forgot all those somehow. Never mind. There's not a lot. We'll just do it this way. Oh. Or not. There we go. All dressed up and nowhere to go. Yes. Yes, that is correct. It's the edit NPC command that allows me to do that. So if I go in here to Rocket, you have to be looking at the horse. Let's see. There we go. So you just go into your console and type edit NPC, no spaces, and it's going to pull up the information on whatever NPC you're looking at. Now, this will also tell you, you'll see NPC horse, and that's its ID number. So you can use that to lock and unlock the NPCs as well, because that will tell the system which NPC you're referring to. Because without that information, it doesn't know what to do, because we didn't really think about NPCs until the dummy NPCs got put in, but the system actually regards all of the animals as NPCs. So every single animal on here is regarded by the system as an NPC. Let's see. We really can't do much with the saddles, unfortunately. I was hoping we might be able to like have things we could place, which we really can't. So that's sort of pointless, but let's try and put in a bit of a wash rack grooming area here, because it just wouldn't be complete without it. Now, those out of the way here. Wait, what ID are these? 71, so they're the same. So, for consistency's sake, do same one. There we go. Ooh, very dark. Let's fix that. That's slightly better. Still very foggy out. Okay. So it's a little too big. That's better. And it's going to be interesting to try and get to try and actually have it look like a wash rack. So let's see, let's basically go with slightly larger than normal. And if I rotate this, it'll let me, oops, too far. Let me go this way. I wonder if I can, oh. There we go. Really, that's as far apart as I can get them? It's really not what I was looking for. Okay, whatever. Alright, that needs to be smaller. But longer. And then these are off grid. So that's not actually going to center it. But never mind, we won't bother with the grid. And on the wash racks, these can basically be bigger openings, really. Generally speaking, of course, you would have... Oh, that's too short. A lot of the time they'll do these, they'll just tie them in the center of the aisle. But I wanted something that was just a little bit different than that. So I'll basically just do two. So we'll just have the one kind of divider here. Now, I need to find the right texture, because I want it to look like we've got some piping for the water. So I don't like that. That's a very blue metal tint. I'm not a huge fan of a lot of the metal textures in the game. It's just kind of really obvious that they were never intended, the texture was never intended to be used on anything smaller than these blocks, you know? And we just have a dirt floor, so I'm not going to worry about drains or anything like that. That won't really look very good. Use for, what did I use for the buckets? Okay. That was, no, that was a metal plate. That? Maybe it was that. And that. Let's try this. Write that down, because I will forget these numbers. Too many random notepads, or a notepad full of random notes. So that is 188. Let's give that a try here. So the log would be the best one. Wood log 188. Okay. Yeah. That down now, roughly centered. Okay. Just make it look like yeah, that'll do. Turn on my light here to get a better look. Oops, too far. Yeah. That should do it. That's probably roughly. And that does look like it's going out the wall, so I will be satisfied with that. And if I can just have things kind of look somewhat realistic and believable from a distance. I think that'll be good. Oops. Nope, that's further over. So that to lay on its side. Of course, obviously it's not, I shouldn't say obviously. There are people who can make things that will hold up to close scrutiny. I'm just not one of them. Okay. Now I need the same size as this. Yep, that looks the same. And this probably won't even get small enough. I was thinking that I would like something that almost looked like holes. Shower head holes, basically. Oh, I had that. Oh, yeah. You'll have to ask a server admin if either you can get permissions or if you can tell them what you would like your animal to be called, and then they can change the name for you. Which I would guess most of the server admins are probably just changing the names for people, because I don't know that you can actually add in like just edit NPCs as a permission. It might have more things going on with it. Okay, and these are kind of what I want. Just something that gives the appearance, you know, from a bit of a distance, that these are essentially shower heads. Okay. Now we need some kind of a control system for them. So, oh. Where should the controls come out? We could have it split. So if I do, is that even? No, it's not even. That's even. That. That. That looks like it comes down to about the right height. Okay. There we go. Right, that looks right. Oops. Yeah. And then let's do that the other way around. So something, well, I don't know, I don't really want something quite that wide. What if no, it doesn't affect how it changes it. Huh. There's really no way that I can have something that's like just a little bit bigger. Oh well. All right. Let's go over and do the same thing over here. That doesn't look too bad. Okay. Now, getting there. How do those look? Yeah, they're fairly even. They're fairly even. Okay. Not bad. I don't feel that it's necessarily ideal, but I don't think it's too terribly bad. Right. Okay. Yeah. I don't think it's too bad. I think that's probably fairly good. Okay. Now we need a way to hitch the horses. Use that again. It does have a bit of a metal look to it. We try to create the hitching rings here in the center. Might not be too bad. Oh, come on. There we go. Sort of. There. Okay. Nope. Say about halfway. About halfway. All right, now comes the fun part. Angle it out a little bit. look approximately even. Yeah, roughly. Okay. Spin this guy around. Got the same angle, but he's pointing a different direction. Okay. Back off a little bit. Yeah. Okay. Except that they're not really perfectly even. Huh. Well, I don't really want to completely redo all these, so I think I'm just going to live with it. You're the one that's not quite so far in, so we'll start with you. Turn around. Okay. Now, hey Smokey, let's go for a quick ride here. Really wish that they had the ability to back up. Would really be a good thing. So then basically, you'd bring them in, they'd be tethered to the tie ring. Of course, they'd have to be further back. But then again, you'd kind of have one design for all of them, and the camels would be much bigger. Yeah, I think I'll live with it. We're not going to leave you here, Smokey. I do love the way that they move, though. Alright. Now, next thing that we need, the shelving. Bring it down. Beam and log. I don't really know if you groom camels the same way. I don't know much of anything about them. I'm going to assume that it would probably be very similar because your objective is the same. You'd be washing them off. I'm guessing that it would be at least similar, if not identical. But that's totally a guess. I have no real idea. Okay. So... Yep. And I don't think we would really need to have very high shelves. I don't see the need for that. No. Why is that so big? Oh yes, because I made it that way. All right. I really want these to kind of connect to the ends of shelf. Maybe because it's not tilted enough. Let's try that. So that do. Possibly it does what I want it to. Maybe. Yeah. That look. Yeah. I think that'll work. Let's go over. Oh. Okay. Let's see. I don't think that I have any images that would be helpful here, but let's double check. No, those would just be the actual animals themselves. No, I don't think that I actually have anything that's like grooming. Yeah. No. Nope. It was a thought. All right. Let's go put up a shelf on the other side. Oh my gosh, it's dark again. Oh, I have caps lock on. How do I have caps lock? There we go. All right, so that would be even with this one. Perfect. So your construction commands are working. It's just not the edit MPC. Yeah, we've got a couple of shelves for grooming instruments. All right. Okay, I'm gonna say that the grooming bays are complete. Let's see. What else? Let's take this. Oops, not quite far enough over. Let's try running around to the other side here. Sometimes I think that the most aggravating thing... Oh, it's too close. Yeah, the most aggravating thing is trying to actually get everything positioned correctly for a blueprint. This is what? That is all 85. Not what that is. Got beams and planks. Okay. Now we're just gonna try and match them up because I like how this little thing came out, so I'd like to do it again. Oh, that's not fun. Yeah, it could take them a little while to get that all straightened out. Okay, that's big enough. Yeah, just gonna do this right here. I really do love control. It's very, very helpful. It just takes a little while to move pieces sometimes. Oh. Up here the way that I want to be. That in place. There. And there. Alright, so there's our base. Now, how high did I make the sides? Correction. That approximately, that looks like approximately the right size. Okay. That in place again. For a little bit. Looks good. Oh. Perfect. Burn this up. All right, so right about there. There. And then I just like to have something in the center just in case you wanted to give them two different types of feed. It's also convenient as a bit of a measuring device. Now, depending on how much you're feeding them, you can either fill both sides, or neither. Okay. I don't need this one here anymore. Destroy this nice thing that we just built. There we go. Okay. A little bit further. Oh. There we go. Oh, but you know, I wonder if... It wouldn't fit like that. But the other option would be this. The other convenient thing about making blueprints out of just planks and beams, you can move them. You can rotate them very freely. Oh, that does kind of sound cool. Nothing modern or anything like that. Huh. I can't decide if I want to have it up at the front of the stall or in the back with the other two. I almost think that having it at the front would make a bit more sense, because if you had a stable full of horses that you had to feed, having the feeders at the front of the stalls would be easier to add the feed to and move on to the next stall instead of having to go all the way in. And this way, if you had a horse that was, say, a little violent, you could just feed them like right through the bars. Basically, you could just toss the hay right in. You wouldn't have to actually open the stall. So I think that makes more sense. All right. It's kind of the fun thing about playing in creative mode is that you can go through and do stuff like that. And I still need to find better quality pictures of, or pictures of hay, period. Maybe hay and grain. I could have hay on one side and grain on the other. We'll see what I can find, though. Yeah, sometimes feeders are at the back, but I have seen them where they have, it's usually if they have like the bags, the hay bags that they hang up. I've seen those up at the front of stalls before. So this is a little bit different. I mean, in these we've got kind of the hay rack at the back there, but you could also feed them if you had, you know, especially for the donkeys because they're smaller. Maybe they can't reach those hay racks, so they have something a little smaller. Okay. See. Oh, yes, that would be great, gamer. I do wish that we had, well, kind of a more realistic progression through the time frames. Like, I feel like we can go from medieval and primitive tools to modern tools a little too easily. How did that end up misaligned? Oh, that might be before I was using blueprints. I'll fix it later. There are a lot of things that it would really be nice if we had that are just a little bit more medieval, and just kind of make it seem like more of a realistic progression, kind of, from medieval to modern times. Yes, the steel tools are very, very nice. Super convenient. That's right, he changed it so we don't need the mithril. Which makes me wonder, he's changed the ores in the game before because there was, what was there? Cobalt and something that started with a J that I can't remember. And he took those out. So I don't know if he's planning on removing Mithril. And maybe that's why he changed it, so we don't need it, because he's planning on taking that out. But I do hope that we get a few more realistic things. Because right now, I feel like it's a little too easy to go from medieval to a very modern, modern tools, modern time frame. But then again, I know that there's a lot of survival aspects of the game that are not fully fleshed out, so to speak. So I imagine that as time goes by, he'll make things harder, especially with hostile mobs. Why take away? You mean why take Mithril away? I don't know. I don't know why he took the others out, but I know that he did. So I don't know if that might be why he removed Mithril as a requirement, because he's planning on taking it out. Or if he's just planning on doing something totally different with it. Different kind of requirement or something. Welcome back, Anson. Because they weren't used? Well, that would make sense. But then again, since he removed the need for Mithril from the steel tools, Mithril isn't used for anything either. It is a lot easier to create all the tools now. And I don't know, has anybody seen anything about what he might be doing next? Like, I saw something about probably the pirates / bandits, I guess hostile mobs. I think that's the next thing that he's working on. Of course, he hasn't given us a time frame. He knows us too well. He knows that we'll be jumping down his throat as we approach any kind of a time frame that he provides. So he's very wisely not telling us anything. Like, you get it when you get it. Yeah, and that's kind of the most recent thing that I've seen, but it's definitely not, like, not really a confirmation. Just, I think we're all hoping that he's going to work on more survival-oriented aspects of the game. It will be very interesting to see how that works, because right now everything in the game could honestly be, I guess, broken into. It's not like the doors really lock or anything like that. Okay. All right, I think this is the same bug that people have been talking about with their horses. Because Jane is one of my NPCs that I spawned in when we were first able to do that. And she used to be downstairs on the first floor of the bunkhouse. But people have been saying that they're finding this with their horses. That they will... Hi, Jane. What are you doing here, Jane? That their horses are, like, climbing levels, basically. So, that must be what they're talking about, I guess. Interesting. Very, very interesting. That's the first time I've seen that. Ooh, I forgot. We didn't finish the bunk beds. Let's do that real fast. Beds. I think I am actually going to place bunk beds in here. Yeah, but she wasn't in a tight space. The horses need 4x6. Yeah. I was kind of, when they came out, I was playing around a little bit with sizing for stalls. And it seemed like 8x8 was the smallest that really looked right, I guess you could say. Everything else just looked a little too small. Okay. Not really paying a whole lot of attention to my spacing on these. Oh. I don't have any chests on me. I'll have to make one. Sort of. I love how they just like go straight through the wall. I could place a bed halfway through the wall. All it cares about is that the legs are on the floor. Like, no, that's fine. You can totally have somebody sleeping halfway through a wall. Perfectly fine. Really just want to make sure that the bed legs are firmly planted. After that, it's totally up to you. Like, okay, that's a little odd. Right, yeah. And that's because the way the game thinks of the spacing for the horses is the same way that it views the spacing for the camels. Like, all three animals have the same size to the game. So you have to actually have them all in the same size of space, same amount of space. I mean, I guess they could technically share. This might look better. Putting a chest on either side of the bed. Except, of course, where that's a little bit too close to the door. And yes, the doors, the issue with the doors did get fixed. So our doors work properly again, thankfully. And there's not really enough space for you there. Maybe we'll do one at the foot of the bed. I don't know why they're trying to sink into the floor. That's weird. Yeah, we'll do one at the foot of the bed and one at the side of the bed. Yeah. Okay. And then I'm trying to think what other details really need to take care of. Yeah, this is really a very basic dormitory style room, so I'm not going to worry about having anything too great looking in it. Right, the camels' heads are higher than horses. Oh, no, not even. There. And then, of course, with the animals, you have to remember that because we can't lead them, we have to ride them in and out of everything. You also have to add on the extra height for a rider. I would really love to see lead ropes so that we could lead our horses. We could have like a halter and lead rope. That would be great. Not that I want to seem, you know, too terribly greedy. I really do enjoy the horses. He did, well, I enjoy the camels and the donkeys too. Those are great. But the horses are my personal favorite. And he really did do a good job with them. There's just, you know, a few other things that I think could be done. Not complaining, just giving suggestions. Okay, yeah, that's weird. I haven't tried to make a second saddle for the camels. I just have the one. But like, okay, so that's the saddle for the camels. This little one is the donkey saddle. And then the one with the bedroll in the back of it is the horse saddle. Huh, that's interesting. Let's see. Go to the loom. I love that we make everything on the loom. Okay. That's interesting because, like, the game doesn't tell you that there are different versions. Like, there's no arrows to click to move between them. And everything that all the saddles for the camel that I make look the same. Yeah, the camel saddle is, I guess, a very traditional looking saddle. I think that's, at least I think. I've never seen them up close, so my points of reference are really all movies. But it seems like a very normal, traditional style. The different saddles spawned in? That's interesting. Yes, Hansen, you're right. It would be really cool to be able to ride the elephants. Okay. Go. Room's looking a tad cramped now. Let's go fill up this one. Has anybody tried using the camels to outrun the wildcats, like the tigers? Anybody tried that? I know a couple of people were upset because they said the horses couldn't outrun the tigers. They do all have the same speed? Okay. Which means that you can outrun the bears and the boars, but you cannot outrun any of the big cats. You can outrun them? Oh, wow. Huh. That's interesting. Oh, yeah. But you can't tell right now if your mount has taken damage or how much. Like, that's not a current feature. We're getting a little cramped. You can tell when they die, though. Like, it would be interesting, and I think that they're planning on having it so that we can actually feed the horses. I saw something about they were trying to figure out how to put hay in. They were planning on putting hay into the game, but it wasn't ready yet, which is why it didn't get released with the mounts. So then maybe if they got hurt, we would have to, the same thing that we do for ourselves, we would have to feed them so that they could heal. I think it would be interesting. Maybe this will be a thing when cooking comes to the game. But, like, to be able to kind of do the same thing that I'd like to be able to do for, like, our characters, where if you eat the raw components, it helps your health, but if you cook them into something, then it's more helpful. So, like, a vegetable stew would be more helpful than just a handful of raw carrots and onions kind of thing. I think that would be really cool. And if we apply that to the horses, so say, like if we made them some sort of a grain mash, that would be more helpful to them than just plain hay. That would be pretty cool. Yeah, the horses have the same glitch. I think Red said that it's any water that's more than 2 blocks deep, the animals will drown in. So it'd be really cool to see that get fixed. But I know that the problem with that is that he has to adjust the animal AI so that they, you know, get out of the water. Since right now they just kind of stand in it until they die. mounted as like a boat. Yeah. It would be really nice to have boats in the game, except that at the moment, I don't see much use for them because of the way the water works. Like, there's no... You have oceans, lakes, and ponds. The lakes are really hard to find. And they're not that big. Most of them that I've found. So it's kind of silly to take a rowboat across. But if we had dynamic water and we could make functioning rivers, or if we could have rivers in the game, that would be great. Because then, like, I think then the boats would be more useful. Rails would be better? What would rails be better for? Oh, for trains, you mean. Gotcha. Yeah, with all of the land that we have, I feel that trains would be more useful than boats. But the other thing that would be really cool would be to have to be able to have wagons so that we could, you know, hitch up a couple of horses to a wagon and transport goods that way. I think that would be, especially in terms of trying to have some sort of a reasonable technological progression. I think that horse-drawn and donkey-drawn wagons would be a lot more realistic. But we'll see. I will be happy with whatever we get. Of course, I will still come up with things that I think could be changed about it, because that's just me. I can always come up with things that should be changed, could be different. Yeah, dynamic water will probably cause some problems for people, for sure. But I would like to actually be able to make waterfalls. I would really love that. So I think that would be really cool, because when I was doing a Let's Play for Rising World, I really wanted to put in a waterfall, but waterfalls are not possible without creative mode at this point in time, because you can't, like, make a path for the water and then dump some buckets in and have it work, which is a little bit frustrating. All right. What's going on with Jane? I can see the name there for my NPC. Oh, we've already got a lantern in there. Okay. Let's go see what Jane is doing. Let's figure this out. Okay. So she got from the roof, which, by the way, there's like no ladder or anything. Like, got from the roof down here. All right, well, the NPCs are behaving a little strangely. That's for sure. Yes, it is. It is still in alpha. I know that Red was talking about wanting to be able to move into beta by the end of this year, I think. So that's good. That means that he's happy with the progress that the game is making. So I think that's probably a very good sign. And that will be exciting. No, I thought I saw an animal under here, but it was just the wood beam. Okay. Alright, I'm going to take... Yeah, I have no idea how she got down. That's the NPC that was on the roof. I have no clue. I don't know how she got onto the roof, because there's no way on and off that roof. So, that's just a weird glitch. But anyway, I'm going to take a quick break because I'm out of coffee and I feel that that should be fixed. And then I think the next thing that we're going to look at doing is getting these pastures fixed up and properly populated, really, because we've got our farm fields in pretty good shape. So I think that the next thing that we need is to actually have our pastures be fairly realistic. So, all right, I will be right back, and you guys can keep an eye on Jane and see if she does anything else incredibly weird. Okay, I'm back. Looks like Jane has not really gone very far. No more witchcraft out of her, so far, at least. Guess we'll see. Coffee's a wonderful thing. Okay. So we do need to have some sort of actual gates that we can use. So Oh, I need to get rid of all that stuff. I'm carrying way too much around. Did I put a trash can in here anywhere? I should have. If I didn't, I think I'll need to. Oh, yes I did. Good. Very good. Very useful things, trash cans. Get some of this cleaned out. I don't really need to be carrying around extra saddles. I think that's probably good. I don't think we're going to need that. 70. Why did I have 70? What was that for? I don't remember. Okay, we'll hold on to the rest of that. Okay. Just kind of fly out through our bunkhouse here. And let's figure out what we're doing for a gate. I want something that would be at least realistic for, I think we're just going to do this, something that would be realistic for animals to come through, which means the width is going to have to be correct, basically. Okay. And that also means, actually, wait. I want it to open into the pasture. So that way. There. That's perfectly even. Okay. That. Except that's going to have to go away. Okay. Log. There we go. To be same size as these. I might have made that too wide. Nope, not quite. Perfect. Okay. All right, excellent. Now, I need a bit of a smaller one. Why am I not seeing it, though? What's going on with this? Come on. Alright, found a new glitch. Let's switch back. There we go. Now I can see it. I wonder where that other one got placed. That was weird. That up a little bit. I think that should be a little bit over. And that's gonna have to go far in. Okay. That is weird though, that it just like disappeared. I don't know what that was. Okay. And it would be nice if the doors didn't do that nonsense where they're light on one side, dark on the other. Oh, I'd love to be able to make our own doors. That would be so nice. Okay. Now, where does this go. Alright, that heads out into what is presently being used as our arena, which I think I'm going to want to change anyway. And I have no support beams in there, so that's great. Where was I going to have? There we go. This is where the gate was going to be here. Just kind of go through and make all the gates, and then I'll come back and do everything else. Oh. Right. Spin it all the way around. There we go. All right. It's not perfect, but considering our other options, which are basically just decorative, I think it'll do just fine. Coffee is a wonderful thing. Okay. I was kind of thinking maybe another field in here. Maybe I could turn that into an arena. I don't know. I'll make that decision later. Let's see, anything else down in here? Yep, there. Because you'd want to have more than one way in and out of a field pasture. So, have a few entrances here. Oops, forgot to do this on the other one, I think. Clearly I have not had enough coffee. Then again, there's really no such thing as enough coffee. Okay. So let's see here. We're gonna have cows, sheep. What else? What else? What else? Pigs, we're gonna have to make something different for. Pigs and chickens. Like, they just don't cooperate. And of all animals, of all the animals that I've tried to kind of pen up, I have had the absolute least amount of success with pigs. Yeah, and that's, I mean, for a functional door, it's kind of the most appropriate to the theme that we have. I kept those because I forgot that I didn't finish off all of the pastures. Okay, let's go. Taller. Same. Okay. Will it sink? Apparently it won't. Alright. Excellent. I forgot. Off our pastures. Okay. Probably don't need to worry too much about ones by the bridge. Oh, that's way too close. Yeah, and just lock them all in place. And I might just do that instead of having to like keep spawning in animals because we've lost some. It might be a lot easier to just spawn them where I want them and then immediately lock them into place. And that is not correct. That way I don't have to worry about runaway animals. And apparently I should be locking my NPCs to keep them off the roof. That's really weird though. I have absolutely no idea how Jane got up there. That's such a weird glitch. Yeah, and I don't know that I have the current one because I think the author is back now. So, like, back and updating a bunch of his mods. So I need to check that out because I think I need to update my mods or plugins, whatever you really want to call them. I'm so used to bouncing back and forth between different games, and most games actually call them mods, so I tend to always just say mods. Oh, they're not actually. None of these are actually flush with the wood under them. Oh well. I'm not gonna worry about that right now. I'm not. Does that look? Yeah, that looks right. Yeah, they're plugins. It's the animal breeding plugin. I just have to actually, you know, do the work to update it. Which will actually be really convenient timing because I can do the update on that when I'm doing my how-to video for plugins. So, 2 birds, 1 stone. Yeah, everything for Rising World is actually called a plugin. They're not called mods. Now that probably will change because if the game gets to the point where it has a workshop through Steam, the Steam workshop refers to everything as a mod. So there'll probably be some changes made when that happens. But for the time being, they are all actually called plugins. Oh, look, our weather is clearing up. That's very nice of it. Yes. It is good to see things that are actually being done in English. Not that I can really, I mean, like I said, not that I'm really going to complain about, oh, why is this in German? Well, because the game is actually from Germany, so it has a very large German following, which makes sense. But it's nice to see things being or at least a lot of the people who upload plugins and blueprints are translating it into English as well. So you have a lot of German and English things up there, which I really think it would be nice if everybody would do, because it is hard when you're going through looking at blueprints. I usually, unless I have a lot of time to kill, I don't ever look at the ones that are just in German, because I don't know what the blueprint is till I open it. So unless it's by a creator that I'm familiar with and I want to see what else they've made, I usually don't open them. So that's kind of a shame. Wow, the fog in this game is just amazing. Absolutely amazing. Okay. Just actually go into, I think that'll do it. Actually go into the base that I have for it here. Which does look, the base does look a little strange, and I'm wondering about if I should maybe go back and if I should go back and remove the base so that the fences look a little bit more realistic. I might do that because they do look kind of funny this way. And at this point, I'm not really counting out spacing. I'm just kind of plopping fence posts. Yeah, and I do that a lot to get the translation. Look like you need those. Right about there. It's a good thing we don't drown if we walk through 2 blocks of water. That would be terribly inconvenient. And I think when the fog lifts, we're going to start spawning in animals. And I'll probably put a few more of those feed troughs throughout the fields. Might place them a bit lower for the pigs. Look at that, you can barely see the tiger up there. And you can faintly see a giraffe up there. Wow. I think it's getting dark. I can't really tell because of the fog, but I think it might be. Yes, it was. There we go. Daylight now. Not that it does anything for the weather. I should start experimenting with the different console commands and see if I can actually put together, oops, kind of a quick and easy list. Somebody was asking for that the other day, because I did put out, I wrote a guide and put it up on Steam for this a while ago. I need to update that too. My to-do list is very lengthy. But they were asking if there was any that might be a good spot for a gate. Maybe on the other side. No, I think over here would be the better spot for the gate. Like right here about. Weather clear. Okay. Oops. Requires that I type it correctly. Global weather has been changed. Except that we still have fog. So, I don't think that global weather has been changed that much. There we go. Okay, it's clearing up. It just takes a while. That makes sense. Fix our fence here, and then put gates in. Yeah, the rain is much faster. Okay. Sure. I need to make it smaller. Not too bad. Okay. So I did say we were going to spawn animals in when the weather cleared up. Let's see. What should we spawn in first? Weather sunny. Yeah. Yeah, I think when you tell it to clear, I think it clears to sunny. I think. I could be wrong. I still have a lot more experimenting to do with the console commands, honestly. Okay. Given the size of this pen, let's start with sheep. One NPC sheep. Yay! Our very first sheep. And then I can just kind of keep recycling the command by hitting the up arrow to get back to the same command that I just used, instead of having to retype it. Yeah. Now, out of curiosity, does anybody know what sheep eat? With the Animal Master animal breeding plugin. Okay, let's start with that. Sugar beets. Okay, let's see here. I plant. Being walked into. Planted sugar beets somewhere. Those are strawberries that I didn't finish planting. I think I planted sugar beets somewhere. These are, yeah, those are potatoes. Those are carrots. That's lettuce. And broccoli. Really? Sugar beets are the thing I didn't plant? Oh, man. Okay. Well, that's actually pretty easy. If we go to F6, inventory, we're down here. Sugar beet sapling. This is how I did all of them. And then I just put the grid on the largest setting, and away we go. It would be really cool if we could use, if we had like farm equipment. that we could use. You know, hook the horses up to a plow the fields. That would be really neat. Okay, now that we have a sugar beet, okay, I haven't actually tried to tame them before, so like, how does one go about feeding? No, that's me. All right. Next question. Anybody know how you feed it to them? It's in my hand. Come on, take it. Take it. Oh, yes. You hit F, which is great. Except that then it goes away. Can I do, oops. Kirby? Okay, yeah. Sugar beet. 20. Okay. Oh, not hungry yet. Okay. Not hungry yet. I should have to wait a while. I have a giant handful full of sugar beets for like no good reason. Go around and feed some of them. I guess they're not all hungry. Okay. Wow, I now have a lot of wool that I don't need, so that's great. Okay. So we've got some... Okay, gotcha. All right, so that's sheep. Let's do... Okay, so just pausing kind of in between. Put some cows over here. All right, so what do the cows eat? Look at that. It's a what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's a 7-headed cow. The very rare and elusive 7-headed cow. Cows eat carrots. Okay, so item carrot. And carrots are stacks of 8. Oh, stacks of 16. Perfect. All right. Well, they're not all hungry yet. No, because the cows will get full too. They'll say they're not hungry yet. Okay. Well, now they say yum yum, And you can see it like up here in like when you hit T to talk on a multiplayer server, that's where the cows will communicate with you. All the animals, actually. Yay! This cow now belongs to me. I did not record how many times I had to feed the cow for that to work. Okay. So now it's just, it doesn't say tamed, it's just green instead of yellow, and it doesn't say wild. So, okay. Well, sometimes it's hard to keep up. I feel that way, Hansen. I feel out of date about a lot of my games because recently I just haven't been playing as much. I've been doing so many other things that I do feel like I'm very out of date with a lot of my games. I was kind of looking at my Steam library today, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, there are so many things that I haven't touched in so long, I have no idea what's going on. Alright, let's try a door over here. This one's going to be a little funky. Okay. Oops, come on. There we go. Just barely. Yeah. It's a lot easier if you don't plan to record it. But there are some games that I might want to record, depending on where they're at in terms of updating and bug fixes and development, things like that. So, I need to get caught up. I really do. Alright, well, you're just going to be the weird little sheep hanging out in here then. And let's see. I don't really like to spawn them in right on top of each other. It just seems really silly. Okay. And then just version 1 is the white horse, just so you guys know why there's a number 1 there. And version 2 is, well, version 1 is gray, version 2 is bay. If I'm being accurate about my colors here. And I don't think that the animal breeding plugin has been updated to reflect the addition of horses, camels, and donkeys to the game. No, bay is in the color bay, not whatever people are using that word for nowadays. Okay. So let's see, we've got a field of horses, we have a field of cows, and we have a field of sheep. So next up, let's see. Okay, well that's whatever. It makes no sense to me, but let's put pigs over here. Or no, let's put chickens. Let's put chickens over here. Let's do that. So, first off, we're going to need a doorway. Good. Not perfectly even, but that's okay. We'll live with it. Oh yeah, you didn't get to see those, did you, Hanson? So yeah, let me get this door put in. Yeah. What's wrong one? That. There we go. All right, we'll fix that up later. Let's do this properly. So Smokey is still saddled. Yep. I'd love to be able to interact with the doors while you're mounted, so you could like open a gate from the saddle kind of thing. I'm working on actually creating a proper arena. The barrels are just kind of like randomly placed for demonstration purposes more than anything else. I know, yeah, the elephant just like, he hangs out there. He's not going anywhere. So I was trying to create, and then we also have the rhinoceros just sort of hanging out here. That's awesome. My goal is to create both a stadium jumping course, a cross-country course, and then also like a Western Trail class course. And once I get all those done, then I do plan to upload them as sets to the workshop, so that people can kind of create their own arenas. Yeah, but the barrels are really... There's not actually enough room between them, so those need to go away. Yeah, I need to actually... It's been so long since I've seen a stadium jumping course that I'm trying to do this from memory, and I'm missing things. I know I am. So I need to actually pull up some reference pictures and videos and go through all of that. The cross-country course should be interesting to make. That will be... I don't know exactly where I'm going to put that. I might put... I might put it over here, like kind of back behind or past the house here. So like maybe out in this area. Might do some landscaping out here and have the stadium jumping course closer to the house. And then further out, do the cross-country course and a Western Trail course. We'll kind of see how that works out. Yeah, and it would be, oh, let's see. That didn't work. I was able to jump out of it. I should be able to jump back into it, right? Nope, apparently I can't. Okay, never mind. There is a plugin that's supposed to do that. I don't know how well it will work. I don't know if it will work when you're on horseback, but there's a trails plugin that's supposed to basically lay trails behind you. And I love the dust effect. That's just awesome. So if we get up some good speed here and then turn the corners, should be able to see our dust, except that it only works if you're on dirt. So it doesn't work on dirt blocks. It just works on actual dirt. I wonder if it works on the grass. Nope. Just on actual dirt. Oh well. Yeah. They're not the most precise in terms of handling. And they can't back up. But overall, the horses aren't half bad. I do like how smooth they are. They feel very, very appropriate. Well, you should play more. Come on, Hansen. Jump on. Start a new world. Load up an old one. I didn't have any problems converting from the update. It didn't even tell me... It didn't actually even tell me that it was converting. So it really was a very seamless process. Oh. Leave Smokey in the corral right there. Oops, I have to shorten it smaller. Yeah, a little bit bigger. Yeah, that looks good. Okay. So we would need much smaller fencing for chickens. Yeah, I know what you mean. And that's the nice thing about having so many different games, is that when I get kind of burned out on one, I can just switch to another. And take a bit of a break, which is a nice thing to be able to do. Okay. Don't really want the chickens too terribly close to the too terribly close to the water. So that's not straight or even at all. What on earth am I doing here? Okay, that's better. Yeah, that's even. Okay. Then some fencing made. That's as far as we're going, apparently. All right. That. Have a general idea for how to make this seem a little bit more chicken appropriate, but we'll put the basic fencing in first because I'm going to need that kind of framework to be in place. All right, I think we're going to have to come out from here. How far out? Yeah, maybe 2. There we go. Yeah, it'll overlap a little bit, but not too worried. Not the end of the world. Go. It's good. Let's turn off construction mode for a bit. There we are. But yeah, I am kind of back to an earlier topic. I am thinking about starting up another Let's Play for Rising World. I'm going to finish up a couple of projects that I'm working on right now. So, I don't know. Trying to pick a theme that I haven't done before. Oops, that's way too long. Oh, it's hard to see exactly how long, not being further away. Almost. There we go. Now I can shorten it up. I could do the castle. I could do an underground bunker. I could try to do something very modern. That would be very different. Maybe. That look. Not too bad. Yeah, I think that looks okay. Now we just need these nice big fence posts along here. Okay. I think these a little bit closer together this time. There we go. Oh, that's nice. An IKEA modern house with a hidden bunker under it. That would be interesting. Okay. Now, oops, that's long. Short bit. I'm sensing that you really like the bunker idea. Ooh, hay fever's no fun. Spring is here, and so are my allergies, unfortunately, so I kind of feel your pain on that. I'm having to remember to take my allergy medication so that I don't spend all my time sneezing. It would be interesting. I've never done a bunker. And an underground build would be interesting too. So then the next question would be, do I do it in creative mode or survival mode? Survival mode would definitely make for a much longer series. get... Yeah, I do. Haha. I don't know. I think with something that big, that might be a good thing to do in creative mode because there's going to be a lot of digging involved in that. But that would be an interesting one to try. Because you're right, there's not, I don't think there's too much that ever gets done underground. So that would be interesting. I think, oh, who was it? Small Archangel. She did an underground. Did something underground. Okay, so there's the bottoms. I think, though. A few more. Nope, not off. Shorten it. There we go. Okay. Just kind of making this a little bit more closed in. Because a chicken coop is very closed in because, you know, being small animals, they can kind of get out pretty easily if you're not careful. It's a shame that the animal AI isn't advanced enough to have to worry about predators, because that would be a really interesting thing. You know, trying to keep the fox out of the hen house. Kingdom in the Sky. That would be another interesting one. That really would. But would you do it as in like a build up on top of a mountain? Or as in as in something mythical and completely like the buildings are held up in the sky by magic kind of theory? Totally up in the sky. That would be interesting. That would be really interesting. See, now I want to do both. I guess I'm going to be busy for quite a while. Okay. That's pretty well closed in, I think. All right. Oh, look at that. It's a many-headed chicken. Oh, wow. That looks funny. That looks really funny. Okay. Up we go. have a tower and then, yeah. That's true. That is true. That would be very interesting. Oh, wait, I'm not done flying. Okay, so chickens, horses, cows, sheep. What was up next? Oh yes, pigs. Pigs would be the next ones. Entrance. Back. Yeah. Perfect. We're also gonna have to destroy that. Yeah. Okay. Now they'll be close enough together. Watermelon seeds are what the chickens eat? Huh. Interesting. Oh. Close up that little section of fencing. Yeah. Because, you know, that sounds like a really safe pet. Okay. Is this in? Yes, okay. Wasn't sure. Oh. Okay. Oh, it's gonna get dark again. What's that? Okay, and then I think I want to come across from here. Yeah, that looks right. Chili peppers. Huh. That produce spicy eggs. It would be really cool if we could have you know, if animals actually produced something that we needed, like if chickens produced eggs or if cows gave us milk, have a reason to keep them and harvest from them, basically. That would be really neat. Got it. There we go. Not perfect, but I think that'll work. And I'm gonna need my daylight back. Go. Spicy chicken. Yep. Yeah, you would want to do that on a completely flat world. Otherwise, you'd keep having to like knock down really high mountain peaks and stuff like that. And I would probably make it a world that had kind of nothing else in it. so that nothing would sort of get in the way. Also, so that the game didn't have to process anything else. Just have it doing the actual build. Kind of possibly reduce the strain a little bit. Although I am very happy with my computer. It's, since I did the upgrades, which I put the last one in this past week, I got an SSD for the operating system and the main programs. And it's really doing very well. So that's a wonderful thing that I don't have to worry quite so much about. Come on. Oh, there we go. I don't have to worry quite so much about overdoing it. Having my computer decide that it doesn't like me anymore and is going to crash on me. Oh, do I need any more? Nope. That looks good. Okay. So, not type today. NPC pig. There we go. And again, we also have the rare multi-headed pig. Okay. Trying to think if we've kind of forgotten anything here. It's the Samsung 860, the M.2 drive. And I do have on Twitch, I actually also updated it on YouTube, I have my current spec list. Yep, the 860 NVO. My new motherboard, nope, it's the NVO. My new motherboard has a M.2 slot on it, so I went with that instead of needing to buy the larger 2.5 inch. So that kind of saves a little bit of room. All right, that is looking good. Let's see here. What else? That rhino is going to bug me before too long. Oh, goats. Have some goats. We should have some goats. First, though, I should finish this pasture. So we have some place to put the goats. Yeah, and I just have the 3 GB 1060. I didn't splurge on the 6 GB because when I was upgrading, I just didn't have that much money. And now the 1060 has been in there for a while. That's not one of the recent upgrades. Last month I did the motherboard, CPU, and RAM. And then this month I got the SSD. And that pretty much does it for computer upgrades for this year. I'm gonna wait to do anything with my graphics card until I see what NVIDIA is actually going to do. I just don't think that, based on the games that I play, I don't think I'm going to get a big enough boost to make it worth upgrading to like a 1080. So I'm just gonna sit on the 1060 and see what they do in terms of like the 1100 series, which should be the next ones coming out. But I don't think anybody really knows when. I've heard a lot of rumors for July, but it doesn't seem like NVIDIA's confirmed that. Yeah. And I upgraded to the 1060 from a 750, which is what I originally built this with back in 2015. And then, like, I don't know, maybe 6 months to a year ago, before GPU prices got outrageous, I upgraded to the 1060. And since GPU prices are still outrageous, I'm just going to sit on my nice 1060 and I won't upgrade for a while. Next year I'll take a look and see what they've got and if the 1100 series has come out. And when I upgrade my GPU, I will probably also upgrade, or I definitely will upgrade, my case, just to make sure that I still have enough space in it, because I'll be stepping up to a bigger GPU that's going to take up more room in the case. But right now, I think I'm gonna kind of sit on everything for the rest of this year. I've got a lot of work I need to do on my house too, so I had fun upgrading my computer. Now it's time to get serious about home repair. It's nice to have your own house, but man, sometimes it's a pain in the butt. Oops. Yeah, I don't have any of my fans actually listed on my spec sheet there. I've got 2 case fans, 120 millimeter, because that's what my case fits. And then I do also have a CPU cooler running as well. I just don't have that listed either. But when I step up to a bigger case, I'll be able to add more fans. There we go. I don't know why that lays down sometimes. That's kind of weird. All right. No. Sorry, you're not quite what we're looking for. You require a full-length post. That's better. Put goats in here, and then I think we're done. That will conclude the animals. Which is good because we're getting close to the end of the stream, so we'll have all the animals in. And then I think next week, honestly, next week might be the last week for this world. And that would be getting the arenas up and going. And then we might be all done with this one. PC goat. There we go. Oh my god, that looks weird. Oh wow, that is strange. Yeah, no, I have all the software to control the fans. Um, but I really never play action games, so I really don't have to worry about it. And it's gonna be a while before I even attempt to overclock the CPU. So I'm not terribly worried about that at the moment either. Okay. Yeah, it looks really weird when you put a lot of them down at the same time. Like... Okay. Right. Okay, the chickens would... Yeah, they really wouldn't have that kind of a trough. Seriously? See, the pigs are escape artists. I put all those pigs down and there's 2 left. 2 pigs out of all the pigs that I spawned in. Like, really? Okay. There we go. I'm not going to bring the wild ones in. I'm just going to have actual realistic farm animals. There we go. Oh. Lady De Winters in Rising World. She must be getting ready for her stream. Yeah, the game's not perfectly optimized, and hopefully that's one of the things he's going to work on. But all things considered, I mean, I'm sitting at right around 50 FPS, and that's while I'm playing. I'm live streaming, and I'm also recording locally. And then I have the Restream site up to confirm that both streams are working. And while I'm doing all of this, my CPU usage is only sitting at about 40%. So, I'm pretty pleased. All right, guys, I think we're going to go ahead and call it a day here. Oh, wow. 1080 Ti with 25 frames. That must be so very disappointing for them because that is a horribly expensive graphics card right now. Wow. All right. Okay, that is going to wrap it up for today. We've got all of the domesticated animals in, even if our pigs just really disappear. And look at that, we now have no pigs. They have just vanished. It's the weirdest thing. I wonder, though, there really isn't anything directly under here that they could necessarily fall into, though. Because I know there have been reports of animals... Oh, wait a minute. Well, look at that. Hi, Mr. Pig. How are you? You don't seem well. That was another pig. This is where they all are. They all fell through the world. Oh my gosh. Huh. Wow. Okay, well, I guess we're not having pigs because pigs apparently... Oh, look at that. We've got 3 of them there. 1 over there. 1, 2, 3, it looks like over there. Yeah. Okay. So pigs fall through the world. So FYI, everyone, if you're suddenly missing your pigs, they're probably underground. All right. Well, we solved one mystery, and it looks like the rest of our animals, let's go see how our trippy goats are doing. Yeah, the rest of our animals seem to be doing just fine, but apparently we are not going to be having pigs. So, all right. Oh, wow. Okay, well, thank you everyone for hanging out with me. And I hope to see you next week when we will work on actually setting up a bit of a more formal stadium jumping, cross country, and Western Trail arena mixture. Have a great week, everyone.